Hi, it's Matt from the Sync Lab. Welcome to our new video series, Behind the Sync, brought to you by the Sync Lab. In today's episode, we're looking at Apple's iconic iPod silhouette campaign and exploring why it became one of the most successful examples of music licensing in advertising history. More importantly, we're going to look at what musicians and composers can learn from it when pitching music for sync licensing opportunities. What if I told you that one of the most important sync licensing lessons of all time came from a simple iPod commercial? Not a movie trailer, not a Super Bowl ad, not a blockbuster film, a commercial. Today we're breaking down Apple's iconic iPod silhouette campaign and exploring why it became one of the most successful examples of music licensing in advertising history. More importantly, we're going to look at what musicians and composers can learn from it when pitching music for sync licensing. At first glance, the ad seems incredibly simple. You have colorful backgrounds, black silhouettes dancing, a white iPod, white headphones, and a great song. That's it. There's no complicated storyline, no celebrity endorsement, no lengthy explanation of product features. In fact, Apple barely talks about the product at all. Instead, they let the music do the heavy lifting. And that's our first big lesson. One of the biggest mistakes musicians make when trying to get placements is assuming that supervisors are looking for the best song. They aren't. They're looking for the right feeling. Think about what Apple was really selling here. They weren't selling storage space. They weren't selling battery life. They weren't selling an MP3 player. They were selling freedom, movement, identity, self-expression, the feeling of putting on your headphones and escaping into your own world. The song wasn't chosen because it was technically impressive. It was chosen because it created the emotional experience Apple wanted people to associate with the product. That's exactly how sync licensing works. Music is emotional glue. It helps connect the audience to the story, brand, or message. Now let's look at the relationship between the music and the visuals. Notice how everything feels connected. The movement, the rhythm, the pacing, the energy. The dancers aren't moving randomly. The entire commercial feels like it exists inside the song. This is something music supervisors constantly look for. Great sync placements feel inevitable. When the music is right, it feels like the scene and the song were always meant to exist together. When the music is wrong, you feel it immediately. The audience may not consciously know why, but they know something feels off. Another lesson musicians can learn from this campaign is the power of simplicity. Many composers believe they need to impress people with complexity. More instruments, more sections, more production tricks, more surprises. But visual media often rewards clarity rather than complexity. Supervisors frequently need music that establishes a mood quickly and then maintains that mood consistently. This commercial demonstrates that perfectly. The music creates a vibe almost instantly and then stays committed to that vibe from beginning to end. It supports the visuals instead of competing with them. Here's another interesting point. Most people remember these commercials. But if you ask them about the technical specifications of the iPod being advertised, they probably couldn't tell you. Why? Because people remember experiences, not specifications. Apple understood that. The music helped create an experience, and that emotional experience became part of the brand. This is exactly why sync licensing can be so powerful. Music bypasses logic and speaks directly to emotion. So what can musicians learn from all of this? First, stop asking whether your song is good. Start asking what your song makes people feel. Second, think about context. Where does your music belong? What kind of scene, brand, commercial, or story would benefit from it? And finally, remember that music supervisors aren't shopping for songs. They're solving problems. They need music that helps tell a story, sell a product, support a scene, or create an emotional response. The more clearly your music accomplishes that goal, the more valuable it becomes. The Apple Silhouette campaign remains one of the best examples of music and visuals working together to create something memorable. And the lesson is surprisingly simple. The best sync placements aren't necessarily about the best songs, they're about the best emotional fit. Ready to learn more about sync licensing? Visit thesynclab.com and join the free version of the Sync Lab. Your free membership to the Sync Lab includes a free directory of music libraries and a free 4-hour video course all about how to make money licensing your music in TV, films, and commercials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Behind the Sync.